Here again, here's another, this is Tim here with another video. This time I'll be doing the reviews for the VHS movies, the trilogy. And by VHS, for people who don't know what I'm talking about, back in 2012 there was this movie VHS with multiple horror directors. It's like a horror anthology. If you don't know what an anthology is, if you've ever seen like Creepshow, where it's like multiple different horror stories in like one film, it's pretty much what this is, except they're all told as if they were like recorded with a VHS tape, which is a neat idea. And they made 3 of them, and Adam Wingard, the guy who did the new Blair Witch, which was terrible, directed one of the segments, and I believe each film. Now, I wanted to review all 3 in one video because these are very simple movies, but at the same time, for the first time in one of my videos, I had to take notes because I do my videos raw, like, because I feel like you get more emotion, or you really emotion out doing like that than like rehearsing stuff and everything. Just feels more corporate when you got to rehearse and everything. But I had to take notes for this one because there's 3 movies and I didn't want to get any of the stories confused about what particular film they took place on. The original VHS was really hyped up back in 2012. Let me just pop this open here. I'll just go ahead and say it. VHS number 1, honestly, did not live up to the hype for me. This was the first time I've watched all 3. I've watched any of these VHS type flicks. I'll just go ahead and say it. I'd give the original film a 0. Adam Wingard, I believe, directs the wraparound segment of the original VHS, and I actually like Adam Wingard's standalone flicks like You're Next and The Guest, but his Blair Witch was horrible. This is also horrible. The wraparound, basically you got these guys who are assholes. They run around like showing girls' tits like random chicks on the street. It's just like really retarded. And they get paid money to break into this house and like get this VHS tape, and they go in there and start watching it. And there's like this dead dude sitting there, and they just watch it anyway. It makes pretty much no sense. They start watching it anyway, and then one by one they start kind of vanishing. And at the end of it, you find out after the final story on the VHS tape is over that the guy that was in there that was dead is actually a zombie, and he kills the last dude, and that's pretty much how it ends for the wraparound. Really stupid and really annoying characters. Story 1, the first one we get on the VHS tape, is a story pretty much about a siren, about this chick. Well, not so much a siren, but like a succubus, I believe, like a demon chick who seduces men and eats them, I believe is what it is in mythology. But anyway, these guys are like wanting to make a homemade porno or whatever. There's really obnoxious frat guy type characters, and they find these 2 chicks, and obviously you can tell something's wrong with one of them. They bring them back, they're having sex with them in the hotel room, and all at once the chick starts like transforming into this monster. Good effects. It's like her head's like almost split open. It's really cool effects. I'll give the movie this. The practical effects in this movie, and they're mostly practical, are pretty much all practical, I think, are good. This is some good effects. But she turned into a monster and like eating one dude while she's on top of him. But there's like 4 other guys in the place, and you would think they could overpower this one girl or just make a run for the door while she's eating that guy and just run out. But they all run like little bitches into the bathroom. That doesn't really make much sense. She pretty much kills them all except for one dude who makes it out of there. And coincidentally, he falls down the stairs and breaks like his leg or something, or his hand or whatever. He could have gotten away if he hadn't failed. You know, it's one of those. And she shows up there and starts like blowing the dude, which is weird. And then because he doesn't get an erection, she freaks out and starts crying in the corner, which is kind of funny. And he gets away, and he's like hollering for people to help him, and nobody will for some reason, even though the dude obviously has like a broken arm, the bone sticking out. And she shows up there and grabs him and like flies off into the night like a freaking bat creature, I guess to go rape him to death and eat him or something, I don't know. But good effects on the creature, just all around kind of pointless. There's nothing much to it, and a lot of these stories are like really ambiguous about what the hell's going on. I can handle ambiguity, and especially in horror films, but it's almost to the point where it's like, shit, we don't know, you decide. Anyway, that story alone would be a 0. Story, or at least a 1 star, I guess I'd give that story by itself because of the good practical effects. Story 2, this is pretty pointless. Actually, I don't think Adam Wingard did the wraparound. I think he did story 2 here, called about the honeymoon. It's about this couple who are like really fight all the time, and then in the middle of the night there's like this person who comes into the hotel room with a switchblade. You don't see who it is. They show up in there and they shine cameras in the couple's face, and why they don't wake up, I have no idea. And pretty much after that, the person shows back up, stabs the dude in the throat, kills him, and you find out that it's actually a woman who did it, and that the wife was in cahoots with her, and they're lesbian lovers, I guess, that they met. I guess she's been sleeping with her on the side or something, and because of her marriage being so bad or whatever, and she killed the guy to get rid of him, so she won't have to split her shit, I guess. It's just pointless. And why the hell? And each one of these segments have like a first-person view of everything being recorded, and it somehow winds up on this mythical VHS tape that the main characters are watching in the film. But why the hell would you record your murder if you're planning on offing your husband? That doesn't make much sense either. Story, that one's a definite 0. They didn't even have good either practical. There was like one practical effect shot of the dude's throat being slit. That was pretty much it. That's a 0. That was just lame. Story 3 is about this static killer. This chick takes her friends into the woods, and you find out her other friends were killed there years ago. She takes her new friends into the woods to be used as bait from this like static electricity type killer. It kind of reminded me of like a scene from Shocker, Wes Craven film. And she ends up setting traps for this dude. All her new friends get killed, and she's like, well, she must not have gave too much of a crap about her new friends. She ends up catching the dude, but of course he gets out, and then he just leaps at her and kills her, and that's the end of it. It's just pointless. That's the problem with a lot of these stories. They just feel kind of pointless. This movie's overlong. There's too many stories. Creepshow was overlong too, but it held my interest. Even though it had multiple stories, they're still much more fun and much more complete and fulfilling than what we have here. Story 4 is about this doctor who Snapchats with this girl and like gets her to show him her tits, which they're nice. That's fine, but and then she keeps hearing voices and shit there, and you think it's a ghost, and then eventually she gets knocked out, and then you find out the doctor really like lives like right next to her, and he's got a tracking device in her arm. He's like these little ghost children sitting there, and he's like, how many more times do we have to do this? Once again, it's really ambiguous. There's no explanation for what the hell's going on, and he like pulls this fetus or something like that out of her stomach, and then after that he like breaks her arm to make it look like a burglary or something, or like she's schizophrenic. And then you find out he's doing this to other women as well, but there's like no explanation for like why. I mean, what the hell's going on? It's like so ambiguous. That's like they didn't have any idea themselves, the makers. That's another 0. It is just, well, I guess I'd give it a half a star for the tits. Story 5. This one had some fun flavor to it. It's about these guys who are going to a Halloween party. They show up at the wrong place. There's like this exorcism going on. There's a chick tied up, and they decide to rescue the chick, and this unseen force like kills all the people there trying to do the exorcism or whatever. They're trying to make it out of the house. You got some of these cool scenes of like hands and stuff like coming through the walls and shit. That was cool. And these guys are actually likable. I thought these actors were enjoyable. They managed to make it out there with a girl, and you know there's a twist coming because all of these stories have had downer endings. And they get out there with the girl, and you know what's coming if you've seen more than your share of horror films. The girl turns out to actually be possessed. They thought she was the victim, and she like disappears out of the vehicle, and you find out she's like led them onto the train tracks, and they all get killed. Predictable shit. You knew it was coming. All in all, this movie is a 0. Waste of potential. Great idea of having like a VHS horror movie anthology type thing, but just pure waste of potential. VHS 2, unlike the first, which I give a 0, VHS 2 I'd give 2.5. I actually thought VHS 2 was alright. Of the 3, this is my favorite easily. This is an alright film. Critics and horror fans mostly consider this one the best. I'm right there with them. I'm with the majority on this one. I'm going VHS 2. The wraparound stories, pretty much these two detectives break into this house, and this woman has hired them to find her teenage son, and they start watching these tapes trying to find clues to where he could be. And of course the tapes have the stories on them, and you find out at the end that the son like blew his brains out. He's like got half a tongue hanging out or whatever, like a zombie, because the tapes like drove him crazy, and he's become possessed by him, I guess. And he pretty much kills the main detective guy at the end, and that's how the wraparound ends. Kind of, it's predictable, but it's more because the overall film as a whole here is stronger than the last one. Once you get to the downer ending, it's more enjoyable, and the effects are better. The wraparound story was all right. Story 1, this is I believe the one directed by Adam Wingard. It's like an eye test type thing. This is also another bad one. Adam Wingard's like contributions to these VHS movies are just not good. I don't understand why, because he is talented. But anyway, this dude like goes and gets his eye fixed so he can see better, and he gets like this robotic type eye. He leaves there and he starts seeing ghosts and shit, and it really scares him. And this chick shows up who we saw earlier, and she tells him that she had the same thing done with her ears, and she hears ghosts. And he looks over there and sees this fat dude, and she's like, oh, that's my dead uncle. He follows me everywhere. And she's like, I know how to make him go away. And she like puts him down, pulls off her top, and starts like having sex with him. She's like, just focus on me. And it's like really random. It's like, so sex makes the ghosts go away. This is just freaking weird. I actually did enjoy that because it was so quirky and goofy. I had fun with it. Plus the girls, you know, once again, her tits were great. All in all, the ending of it, she gets drowned in a pool by the unseen ghosts or whatever. The dude tries to cut his eye out, and the ghosts just kill him anyway. Just pointless. This is the worst story. It's the acting is fine. It's just, it feels pointless as a whole. Some neat effects, some neat ideas, but it just doesn't really go anywhere. Story 2, this one was great. This is the best story of all 3 VHS movies. They could make a movie of this one if they got a talented enough writer and director. This Asian dude is like going through the woods talking to his girlfriend. They have a good relationship. He tries to help this woman, and she's talking about her boyfriend was attacked and bit, and you find out there's a herd of zombies. He gets bit. He turns into a zombie, starts attacking more people. They turn into zombies, but he still has like a little bit of consciousness left. And this is really cool because he's got like a helmet with a camera on it, and you see it from his point of view. It's like a much better version of Diary of the Dead. Except with a zombie first-person view, very creative, and they do really cool stuff with like shots and stuff. Like the dude like goes around just like attacking random people. He's at this birthday party attacking people, and he like sees his reflection, and it like freaks him out for a minute because he sees that he's a zombie. Really sad. And then he eventually gets a call from his girl after he gets run over by accident, and it's a call from his girl and her saying that she loves him. And he sees a shotgun, he decides to kill himself, and it's all done like first-person view, just really epic and well done. And the guy's acting is good. Really cool, like inventive little zombie story. Story 3 is about this news crew type people who want to interview this crazy-ass cult, like Jim Jones type thing. They go there, and of course the cult is freaking crazy. And there's like dudes having sex with chicks like in random rooms and everything. It's just pure craziness. The story here is pretty muddled for this one, but it's just so much crazy shit, just makes it entertaining. They like kidnap his girlfriend or whatever who's pregnant, and they do some kind of satanic ritual on her. She gives birth to like this evil demon antichrist thing. It's got bat wings and shit, and it's chasing the dude, and the dude manages to make it out there and drive away, but it like flies out there and knocks the dude's car over. And the dude doesn't die. He like comes out of the vehicle, but the friggin' creature looks down at him and goes, Daddy or Papa or Father or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was funny as shit. That's pretty much where it ends. It was alright just for the pure friggin' weirdness. Story 4, which is the last one. This VHS movie's shorter, which I like. They did a good job making this one shorter. I mean, it gave them more time to make the stories more interesting. Story 4, the final one, is an alien attack story. For the most of it, it's kind of like this teen comedy type thing where these kids are playing jokes on each other. It's a slumber party thing. And then all at once these friggin' aliens show up. And the alien designs are kind of like Scary Movie 3, if you've seen them, where they make fun of science, but they're much more horrific here, and then, in the way they're directed and stuff. When they focus on them too much, it does look a little silly, but for the most part, they look good. And, the camera is like on the dog, because the people were using like the dog to film each other, whatever, putting the camera on it, and you see everything like from the first person point of view of the dog. When the aliens are like chasing the kids in the woods and everything, it is pretty intense. And one of the kids like almost drowns, and the girl's like giving him CPR while the aliens are approaching closer. Just really intense type situation here. Pretty much ends with the kids all being abducted. Another downer ending, but it works here. The downer endings work here, even though they're predictable, because the actual stories are more interesting. And all the kids get abducted, and it's pretty much the end of it. The dog falls from the sky and lands on the ground and dies. That was pretty disheartening, honestly, seeing the dog die. But at the same time, it's horror. It's not going to be happy all the time. But anyway, VHS 2.5. This is an alright. I would buy this. Number 2. VHS 3, VHS Viral, I think is what it was called. It's another 0. I hated it. Just like, I actually prefer, this is considered the worst of the 3 films, but I actually liked it slightly better than number 1, just because it's freaking shorter. It's worse written than number 1. At the same time, it's shorter, so it was less insulting for me. The wraparound story is a guy, like, has his girlfriend, he videotapes her all the time. She's hot. But he's like obsessed with a video camera, and she like gets abducted by this dude in an ice cream truck or something, and you never see it. And he chases after her through the through the stories, through the multiple stories that we see. And he gets to her at the end. She's in the ice cream truck, and he thinks she's on video, like banging her head against stuff. And she tells him to press this button. He does. He finds her body there. She's already dead, so it was just like a trick. And it sends like these evil, cursed VHS tapes out viral all over the internet. So if anybody watches them, they become infected. And since he's been watching them through the movie, he's infected now, and his nose is he's like bleeding out the face and shit and everything. So pretty much it ends with like a bunch of flashing lights. So it's like, it's just forgettable, really. Nothing much to it. Story 1 is about a killer cape that eats people. It's about this cursed like demon cape that will help you do magic, but you have to feed it souls or people, I guess. At the end of it, this woman takes it and burns it, takes it from the magician who's been using it to kill people, and she burns it. But jump scare, it comes back somehow and kills her at the end, and that's it. It's just lame, just no effort. It's just going back to the first film, no effort. Story 2 is, let's see. Oh, I see now. Story 2, I remember now. Story 2 is about this guy who creates like this alternate dimension portal in his basement. He goes through it, sees an alternate universe version of himself. This is the only story I liked of the 3. He goes there and meets like an alternate version of himself who swaps places with him, and the dude has like some kind of evil demon-possessed dick. It's really funny, actually. It's really quirky, and the chick has like the same thing with her vagina, and they like she tries to like eat him with it, but they end up switching places back, and so the dick husband gets killed by his evil vagina wife in the dimension he's from, and he goes back to his dimension where the demon-possessed dick version of himself was attacking his own wife, and she thinks that he's the evil one, and she ends up stabbing and killing him. So it's like one of those Tales from the Crypt twisted type funny endings, like haha, your wife killed the good you by accident. But anyway, that one was inventive. I enjoyed that. Story 3, the last one. This one I didn't hate, but just kind of overall not very interesting. There's these skateboarder punks who just aren't they're just not very interesting. They're just annoying, and they go to like Mexico to shoot like extreme jackass type stunt stuff, and they get attacked by these they accidentally bleed on a pentagram or something, and it's these demon creatures come out who are kind of like zombies, and they fight the skateboarders, and you get some neat effects. The skateboarders like bashing their heads in with their skateboards. It's not bad. The acting isn't terrible, but all of them end up getting killed by like one guy. One dude actually survives and gets away, and then right as he's leaving, though, after he leaves, there's this evil demon like that comes out and just runs past the camera, and that's pretty much how it is. It's just kind of a lame ending. All in all, this is the lamest of the 3, just the most forgettable. It's a 0, but at the same time, because it was only 3 stories, I got through it easier than number 1. All in all, for the trilogy, I'd honestly give the trilogy as a whole a 0 because it's pointless as a trilogy. 1 and 3 are garbage. 2 is alright, and the only one worth seeing, in my opinion. So that's my reviews for the 3 VHS films, and I'll see you guys again with the next review.